Hello and welcome to today's video. This is going to be a little bit different. Basically, this is a quiz where you have to find the right answers, but you will use your answers to break a code. A code is a hidden message. So to find out what the message says, you have to break the code. In this example, you have to choose which answer to the question is correct. If you get them all right, you will know what the message says. If you get some wrong, it won't make sense. These are the words you have to find. So write these blanks on a piece of paper or record them on your phone. The first word is 2 letters. The next word is 4 letters. The third word is 2 letters again. And the last word is 7 letters. The possible answers to the questions each have a letter. Choose the answer that's right and put the letter for that answer into its place in the message. Question 2. If you use on the contrary at the start of a sentence, it means, firstly, the new sentence will agree with the last thing that was said, or the new sentence will disagree with the last thing that was said, or the next sentence will be the last one, or the new sentence is about a new topic. So choose your correct answer and put the letter where the red arrow is pointing. Next one. Which one is not true? The imperative tense is used to make suggestions, used to give advice, do's and don'ts, used to give orders, or used when you don't agree with someone. And again, write the letter for your answer in the box that's shown with the red arrow. And we'll go on to the next one. On the 1st of September, I will have been working here for 5 years. The tense used is future simple, or future continuous, or future perfect, or past perfect. And you know what to do when you have chosen your answer. With imperative, there is no subject. True, false, or sometimes true, sometimes not true. And again, put your answer in the box that the red arrow is pointing to. Next one. With imperative, the tense is always future simple. True, false, sometimes true, sometimes not true. And by now you know where to put your answer. The reason we have paragraphs when we are writing is, firstly, because the rules of grammar say that we must, or secondly, because the meaning changes if we have paragraphs from what it means without paragraphs. Thirdly, because it makes reading it easier for the reader, or fourthly, because websites take a long time to load if there are no paragraphs. And the next one, conditionals 2 and 3 are about impossible or unreal situations. False for both, true for 2 but not for 3, true for 3 but not for 2, true for both. If I listen to music, I use headphones. If I listen to music, I'll use headphones. Firstly, these two mean exactly the same. Secondly, the first one is talking about only the present, the second one is talking about only the future. Thirdly, the first one means I always use headphones, the second one means I only use them sometimes. And fourthly, the first one means I always use headphones, the second one means I plan to use them in the future situation we're talking about, like after school. Okay, and the next one. My numbers won the lottery. If I had bought a ticket, I would be rich today. Which one? Zero conditional, first conditional, second conditional, third conditional, or mixed conditional? Okay. If I were king, I would make good laws. If I was king, I would make good laws. Which one is correct? Firstly, both. Secondly, were. Thirdly, was. And fourthly, neither. And then, if you don't pass your exam, you won't graduate. Which one is another way to say this? Firstly, unless you pass your exam, you will graduate. Second, unless you pass your exam, you won't graduate. Thirdly, whenever you pass your exam, you won't graduate. And fourthly, although you pass your exam, you won't graduate. And the next one. One, when you get home, call me. This sentence uses the imperative or the infinitive. And next, And we're going to finish off with songs from completely different times. First one is from 1916, over 100 years ago. You have to fill in the blanks. If you, something, the only girl in the world, and I, something, the only boy. Nothing else, something matter in the world today. We, something, go on loving in the same old way. A Garden of Eden, just made for two, with nothing to mar, which means spoil, our joy. I, something, say such wonderful things to you. There's something, be such wonderful things to do. If you, something, the only girl in the world, and I, something, the only boy. If you were the only girl in the world, and I was the only boy, nothing else would matter in the world today. We would go on loving in the same old way. A Garden of Eden, just made for two, with nothing to mar our joy. I would say such wonderful things to you. There would be such wonderful things to do if you were the only girl in the world and I was the only boy. And this is the second song from 1966, so it's about 60 years old. If I, something, a carpenter, and you, something, a lady, something, you marry me anyway, something, you have my baby. And the answers for that one: if I was a carpenter and you were a lady, would you marry me anyway? Would you have my baby? And the third and last song is from 2015. Where there's a will, there's a way, kind of beautiful. And every night has its day, so magical. And if there's love in this life, there's no obstacle that can't be defeated. So the question is, which kind of conditional? And the answer, the conditional is, and if there's love in this life, present simple, there's present simple, no obstacle, and that makes it a zero conditional. And this is the end, my friend. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.